Hi everyone, hope you're doing good. And this is a bit of a different video that I'm doing on the channel this time. This is my first collab video, and I'm joined by JC Rock and Metal Reviews for this one. And this, we're kind of thinking that this might take over from the old live streams that we used to do, the story of live streams. I just thought, we could do fun, topical videos and just, random videos discussing things. And for this one, the title explains that we are going to be picking our top albums from 10 years ago. Of course, 10 years ago was 2013. And I was just looking through my albums, and I've got quite a lot of really cool albums from this year. And I just thought, instead of doing a video on recent albums, I thought it'd be quite cool to look back from 10 years ago and look at the top metal albums from 10 years ago. Of course, me and JC have both picked 5 albums. We don't know what albums each of us have picked. We're hopefully going to make a decent top 10 list. So yeah, we're joined by JC. JC, how are you doing, man, John?
Hey, doing good, thanks.
Awesome. Right, okay, so yeah, let's get into it. But before we do, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing for more rock and metal and guitar related content. And also check out John's channel and subscribe to his channel for some really cool rock and metal reviews and more up-to-date metal and classic reviews as well. So let's get straight into it. We're going to go one each here. And as John's the guest, let's start with John and with his number 5.
Okay, my number 5 is No More Hell to Pay by the band Striper. I like this a lot. It's, I guess, somewhat of a comeback album. This is a band, they were, probably most of you know, they came out in the late 80s. They were one of those like Christian glam metal bands. But when they came back in 2013, they came back a lot heavier. So this album probably sounds more like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, like that type of traditional heavy metal, as opposed to that really like 80s like glam metal. They kind of like left that in the past. And Striper is one of those bands that I think their newer stuff is better than their older stuff. I actually don't really like their older albums as much. Maybe like one album, like To Hell with the Devil, is really good. But a lot of the other albums from their 80s stuff, I don't like that much. But everything like after 2013, there's this album, and then they had one, I think, like last year, and then like Even the Devil Knows, or all these. They have a couple albums like since 2013. They're all great. This one's really good. Songs I like, the title track, No More Hell to Pay. That's a really good one. Marching into Battle and Sympathy. Those are all really great songs. And the lineup is pretty much the same. It was Michael Sweet, Oz Fox, Tim Gaines, and Robert Sweet. So they just got a lot heavier. And that's it. That's my number 5. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 5, I've of course gone with Trivium, and this is Vengeance Force, and this is their 6th album, come out on Roadrunner. And with this one, although with my Trivium ranking I had this one fairly low, this is still a fantastic album. They definitely went more down the metalcore road with this. They sort of abandoned that sort of old school thrash metal that they had with their earlier stuff. And they definitely went more down a metalcore route with this, a bit more simplistic, maybe a little bit more commercial, I guess. But still has got some great songs on there, like the first song, Brave This Storm, the title track, Strife, which is a pretty big hit. Through Blood and Dirt and Bone, I really enjoy. Villainy Thrives as well. There's some really good stuff on here. although not their best, but I still think it's one of the best from that year. So that is my number 5.
Oh, cool. Cool, great album. Okay, let me go to my number 4, and this is by Jason Newsted, or he had a band called Newsted, and he put out one album called Heavy Metal Music. I don't know why he never. I mean, I kind of wish he continued with this, because this is a great album. It reminds me a lot of Metallica, but the later Metallica. I'm thinking of like the sound of like the Hardwired to Self-Destruct, like those albums. I mean, it has the same kind of riffing. He does the vocals. The vocals are decent. She's probably like, not as good as James, but it's just a really good album. I was just listening to this right before recording this, just to kind of like get used to it again. So a couple great songs. Soldier Head, that's a good one. He also put out an EP. A lot of these songs were from there. King of the Underdogs, that's a really good one. And The Crow Flies, that's a good song. And as the lineup, it's Jason on bass and lead vocals. Mike Mushak is on lead guitar. If you don't know him, he is in Stained. And Stained to Sonia, he's actually back in the band Stained. And then the other two people who I don't really know are Jesse Farnsworth and Jesus Mendez Jr. Those people I don't know, but it's a great album. Like I said, I wish he continued with this band, because it just has like a really great sound. So that's my number 4. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I've never heard that album, so
yeah, you should give it a listen. You have to find it on YouTube. I don't think it's on Spotify, but it's really good.
That's fair enough. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely have a look at that. All right, okay. My number 4, I've gone with 6 by Onslaught, and as the album says, it's their 6th album, and this is a really, really solid thrash metal. This is the last album that featured Cy Keeler on the vocals, and I thought he did a really good job with this. I'm not a big fan of the what was it called? The second album that Onslaught did that had Cy Keeler on it. I wasn't a big fan of that one, but this one, I think is a lot better than that. I think his vocals are a lot better, slightly deeper range, a lot more lower register vocals, which I think suits this band a lot better than a higher register. But yeah, some really cool grooves on here and some really awesome thrash metal, like the title song. There isn't, well, technically there is. It's called 666, and that is a really cool, groovy song. Also, Chaos is King, one of my favorites, and Fuel for My Fire. I think that's a really great song. Crucifixion as well is really cool. Dead Man Walking as well is a great song. Some fantastic guitar solos throughout. I think they got some guest guitar players to come in and rip some awesome guitar solos on it. Some fantastic riffs. Great songs, and yeah, really solid album. Another fantastic Onslaught album from their later catalogue. So yeah, that is my number 4.
Cool. That's another one I haven't heard that one yet, but I'll have to check it out soon. Okay, so now my number 3. I have the band Ghost with I'm not gonna be able to say this album title. Is called Infestissimum or something like that. It's I like this band. It's pretty cool. They're kind of a unique band, because I've covered them a lot on my channel. I have a lot of their other albums on vinyl. This one I actually don't have yet, but they're probably sound more like classic rock than they do heavy metal. So a lot of people have argue like, are they metal, are they not? But I think that's not important. they're just a very theatrical band. Actually saw them live. That was my last concert. I saw them last month, or it was actually like late September. And this is a pretty decent album. I would say probably the best song would be Year Zero. That's just a very, that's a song they play live often. It's very theatrical. It's just really great. And also Monstrance Clock. I like that one a lot. And I like, what else? Idolatron, track number 8. This is, it's a good album. It's actually like kind of like a darker album, but it still has kind of like that like pop and hard rock sound. So this is definitely a pretty cool band. They're kind of unique because they're almost kind of poppy, kind of catchy, kind of like classic rock, but they're also like very dark, you know, with their lyrical content. So definitely, you know, if you like the band Ghost, if you know them, I recommend this album. So that's my number 3. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I've never actually given them a go, to be honest. I've never listened to them, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of band that their sound doesn't really fit their image. Like, you know, I've said this in other videos. I've always thought they were going to be like this really like heavy, like a black metal band, but no, their sound doesn't really fit the image. But they're actually pretty good. They're really good musicians. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right. Nice. Okay, my number 3, I've gone with Killswitch Engage, and this is Disarm the Descent. Their 5th or 6th album. I want to say, I think it is the 6th album. Yeah, 6th album on Roadrunner. And this is the return of Jesse Leach on the vocals, because 2 years prior to this is when Howard Jones left the band quite unexpectedly, really.
Yeah.
And then they were re-auditioning and they got Jesse Leach back and put this album out, because the previous album with Howard Jones was commercially quite successful, but was fairly disappointing for a lot of fans around the time. And then they put this one out, and this is like their big comeback around the time. This one definitely has more of the old school Killswitch sound with a little bit of a modern sort of feel, but it just, you know, it's almost like going back in time to when Jesse was in the band for the first time. And yeah, there's some fantastic songs on here, like The Hell in Me, Beyond the Flames, New Awakening, In Due Time. All We Have is a cool one. No End in Sight. Yeah, it's just full of some really great songs and a modern classic for Killswitch Engage, and definitely one that put them back on track. So yeah, that's my number 3 there.
Cool. That's another one. Yeah, they're a great band. They're kind of really one of the best metalcore bands, right? They're really good. Okay, so my my number 2 now. Yeah, my number 2 is going to be an Alice in Chains with The Devil Put the Dinosaurs Here. This is, I guess I'll call it their second comeback album, because they put out one in 2009 called Black Gives Way to Blue. That's a really great album as well. This one has Jerry Cantrell. This was obviously after Lane Staley passed away, and they got a new vocalist and guitar player called William Duval. And they also have the other members, Sean Kinney and Mike Inez. This is actually the only Alice in Chains album I actually don't have on CD. I love them all, but this one I still need to get. It's really good. I love Stone. That's a really good song. Voices, that's one of their acoustic songs. And Lab a Monkey, that's a pretty cool song. The title track, Devil Put the Dinosaurs Here. That's like one of their longer songs, but that one's like really good. So this is I think like Alice in Chains, they have like one of their discographies, which is a solid discography. I can't really say they have any bad albums. Even the last one, it might be like maybe their weakest, but they don't have any bad albums. Everything is great. This one was pretty popular. It had a couple singles like Hollow, Stone, Voices. They were nominated for a Grammy Award that year, and they made like different lists. So that's my number 2, Alice in Chains, The Devil Put the Dinosaurs Here. Yeah.
That's a great pick. I'll tell you what, I actually forgot about that one. I do really enjoy that album as well. I think it's probably their best album of the modern era of Alice in Chains.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Awesome. Right, okay. My number 2, to match the T-shirt, I've gone with Death Angel, The Dream Calls for Blood. And yeah, for me, this could actually be my favorite Death Angel album that they've done.
Yeah.
I'll have to do a ranking and see where it comes, but it would definitely at least be in the top 3. It's absolutely fantastic. With this album, I believe this is their 6th album, and I think this is the 2nd album with their current lineup that they have still got today. And yeah, they've done about 3 or 4 albums before this one since they come back in like the mid 2000s. And they're good, but for me, this one is where it all comes together. And for me, this is just a perfect album from start to finish. So it opens up with Left for Dead, which is an awesome song. And then another one of my favorites is Fallen, track 3. I think that one is really good. The title track's really good. Succubus is really good as well. I really enjoy Execution, Don't Save Me. I think that one's a really good one. And Empty as well is a fantastic song. And this is just near perfection. Rob wrote an absolute masterpiece with this album. It is just awesome from start to finish. And I love it. And it was nearly my number 1, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So yeah, it's my number 2.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That's another good one. I like Death Angel, pretty much really great thrash band. I like their older albums a lot. I actually used to listen to them in the 90s a lot more. Okay, so my number 1, I'm wondering if I'm going to match you on this one. So let's see. I chose Carcass with Surgical Steel, and this is a really great album. I recently did a review of the one Heartwork, and I think this is like Heartwork Part 2, but it came like 20 years later. It's just it's a solid album. Everything is great. I mean, they got the great lineup. There's pretty much they were a 3-piece, so with Jeff Walker, Bill Steer, and Daniel Wilding on drums. And one thing I like about this band is just the song titles, how they get their lyrics from like these like textbooks or like medical textbooks. Like one is one song, like track number 6 is called Non-Compliance to ASTM F89912 Standard, and that's actually like, I think it's like a law or something like that. And I kind of know this from my day job a little bit because I, work a little bit with this kind of stuff. And I think that's pretty cool that it's a song title. Then the other one, like track 9, 316L grade Surgical Steel. I mean, that's an actual the type of steel used for surgery. And I mean, I really love these album titles, and the songs are just really, really great. I mean, it's just the same type of melodic death metal, and it just sounds a lot like Heartwork. I think this would probably be my second favorite Carcass album after Heartwork. So that's it. That's my number one. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to see if you're going to
Nice.
pick that as one, right? You did?
Well, we were going to match on one. We were bound to match on one, and of course it's Carcass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. It is just a stunning album from start to finish.
Yeah.
You know, their comeback album after, I don't know how long, 13 years or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Since Swan Song. And then they didn't do anything until this. Actually, probably longer than that, about 17, no, about 14, 15 years maybe.
Yeah, so it's a little longer, yeah.
From Swan Song. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, this is the complete edition, which has got some extra bonus songs on it.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Whoops.
Yeah.
So pretty good. Yeah, even the bonus tracks are pretty cool. But yeah, I love this. So, like what John said, this is like a continuation of Heartwork. It has that melodic death metal sound, but I also thought it had quite a thrashy sort of undertone as well, especially with Thrasher's Abattoir. That's almost like a thrash metal meets sort of grindcore kind of song.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. Yeah, also some of my other favorites, Congealed Clot of Blood. I thought that was a really cool song. The Master Butcher's Apron, Unfit for Human Consumption. That opening riff is just incredible. The last song, yeah. I really love Mount of Execution of the last song. It's just a fantastic epic song to end the album. It's just a perfect song. I really, really enjoy it. And yeah, an absolutely awesome comeback album. And yeah, one of my favorite Carcass albums as well. It's just fantastic. And yeah, we're not gonna let it go on longer than it needs to be. We've give it its praises, and rightfully so, because it's amazing. So yeah, that's it. That's our picks. I'd love to know what you thought of our picks in the comments below. What would be your favorite albums from 2013 if we've mentioned any of yours? Hopefully, if this does well, we can do similar videos to this in the future. I think that'd be really cool. John, if you'd be up for that as well, I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, that's it. If you got this far, thanks ever so much for watching. Thanks, John, for coming on doing this video with me. And that's it. Until next time, keep it metal.